totally met my dream girl a few years ago. And I wasn't even expecting it. I just come off of a previous relationship, just wanting to get to know a few of the ladies, and I jumped on the dating apps, and I happened to match with a particular special girl on Bumble. One date turned into two turned into four, and within a few months, you can say we were falling for each other. You could even say we were falling in love. That's a powerful feeling. But you know what else is a powerful feeling? Knowing deep down inside that I was lying to her. I told her a lie. I told her that I was divorced, and I wasn't. Yeah, awkward, right? It's usually one of the precursors you need in order to date somebody else. But the reality was I hadn't even started the paperwork yet. And so as I had this lie in the back of my brain, and the more I got to know and to love this individual, the more I was afraid of telling the truth. A few months later, she happened to be going through my phone, and she found a particular text from my wife. And then it was revealed to her that we hadn't even started the divorce process yet. She was hurt, betrayed. I was embarrassed, ashamed. What am I supposed to do? I hated it. I hated myself. I just wanted to crawl in a box and start over. I'm sure you can imagine how that story ended. The reality is, we are all liars. Have you ever been caught in a lie before? Yeah? Have you ever been afraid of being caught in a lie before? Yeah, it's a horrible, horrible feeling. Clearly, I know what that feels like. But the reality is every single one of us is a liar. I'm a liar. You're a liar. All liars. And I want us to do something. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, I am a liar. If you're watching this online, turn to the person and say, I am a liar. Good. I am glad I feel better now, because now we're all on the same page. Now I know I'm not the only one. But even saying it out loud is a really uncomfortable feeling. Nobody wants to admit that they are a liar, when in reality, we are all a liar. And the interesting thing about lying is a natural part of survival. Research shows that we learn to lie about the age of 2 years old, when we can take facts that are true to what we want, or to get what we want, or to avoid pain. If you've been around a 2-year-old, you know you don't have to teach them how to lie. Isn't that right? So we lie to get what we want or to avoid pain. I was lying to avoid the pain of loneliness. Just 9 months before I met this dream girl, I had a suspicion that my wife was cheating on me. Had a suspicion that my wife was having an affair. And she kept denying it over and over and over again. And I couldn't take it any longer. My suspicion got the best of me, and I waited until she fell asleep. I went through her phone and found the evidence of her affair. Myself feeling broken, feeling pain, feeling betrayed. And I feel like we could have worked through the relationship if it was just cheating, but there was also the lying that I couldn't get through. So we lie to get what we want or to avoid pain. Lying does not exist in a vacuum. We think if we tell a lie here and a lie there, it's not going to have an impact on anybody else, right? You could even ask the question, if you tell a lie in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, is it still a lie? Is it? I believe it is. Because lying begins with lying to yourself. And the moment you start lying to yourself, that has a ripple effect that starts impacting not only yourself, but the people around you, and on and on. And I was caught in the cycle of lying. And the lie ended me losing out on things that were really important to me. The impact of lying is significant. Not only does it impact us, it impacts our health as well. Research shows that every lie you tell, no matter how big or how small that lie is, increases your cortisol levels, spikes your anxiety and stress through the roof. It doesn't matter if it's a little white lie or a major lie. It has the same effect on your body, leaving you with headaches, lower back pain, and stomach issues. But not only does lying impact your health, it impacts your relationships. You know, it doesn't matter even if it's a big lie, if you're just that person who's always late to work, right? Like, oh, we just expect it of so-and-so, never of me. No, it's usually of me. This is why I'm giving this talk. Relationship. Give your word and something falls through, that chips away at your integrity. Even if you're the person that says, hey, I'm going to come for coffee, and you don't show up for coffee, it chips away at our relationships. The third thing that relationship impacts is our impact. Relationships impact our impact. And I can think of two popular characters in history, in near history, where they significantly impacted by their lies. You can think of this person, President Bill Clinton, two-term president, had a great run, great economy. He had one of the lowest unemployment rates, but his great run as a president was totally derailed by one lie he told under oath, impacting his impact. You can think of this other person, Lance Armstrong, is another one. He was the king of cycling. He was bringing attention to the cycling world, not only that, he was bringing attention to help fundraise for cancer through his Live Strong Foundation. And yet, all of that impact he was making was sidelined by the scandal of his denying the use of performance-enhancing drugs. So lying impacts our health, our relationships, and our impact. So when we lie about lying is when we lie to get what we want, we end up losing what we really want. It's an oxymoron. You think if we can lie to get what we want, we're going to be happy and satisfied, but that's not the truth. But what happens if we do in order to rebuild our integrity once it's lost? I often wondered if Bill Clinton and Lance Armstrong could go back and what would they have done differently to help rebuild the lies that they have told. Now, the interesting thing is I mentioned that you don't have to teach a child to lie, right? But you do have to teach them honesty and integrity. It's like a muscle you are building over time. Now, this had me thinking, how am I going to rebuild my integrity? I just got caught in a lie. I was ashamed and embarrassed, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So I dove headstrong into some self-development books. I was listening to audiobook I can do to try to make myself better. I had an epiphany. Because when you start to chip away at when your integrity is starting to be chipped away by those around you, people lose trust in you. And then you start to lose trust in yourself and you feel like a loser. At least that's how I felt. I felt like a loser. And one of the epiphanies I had is that a loser is simply a collection of bad habits. And if you want to rebuild your integrity, you must break those bad habits and learn new habits. You must break those habits and learn new habits. Here are 3 habits I believe you can learn in order to break the habit of lying to yourself. The first one is self-awareness. I said, we lie in order to avoid pain. You first must identify what is the pain you are running from. What is the pain you are attempting to cover up? When we spend so much time lying to other people and we spend so much time lying to ourselves, it's hard for us to know what we're running from because we've put on so many masks and we put up so many fronts with so many people. But the first step is self-awareness, really digging down and taking off the mask so that we can identify the pain that we are running from. And then once you've identified the pain, you must take ownership of that pain. And a lot of times, the main reason why we lie to people is because we want to push the pain as far away. We don't want anybody to know about the pain we are going through in our life. But the truth is, there is power in our pain. There's power in our pain. Let me illustrate. I was with a group of people. There was actors and athletes and a lot of important people in this circle. And there was a guy who was facilitating a conversation. And he started going around the room asking people individual questions. And as they asked this one individual a question, he was a hedge fund manager. He went on to explain what he did. He said, I went to UC Berkeley, then went on to graduate from Stanford, and I have this many billions of dollars under management. And the facilitator said, stop. I want you to now explain what is the pain that you're going through in your life. And he went on, he said, okay. He said, well, my marriage is falling apart. My health is deteriorating. I feel horrible. And he went on and on and on. And the facilitator said, notice what happened. When you were bragging about all of your accolades, when you were bragging about all the things you were doing, the room was sitting back with their arms crossed, not really paying attention. But as soon as you started talking about your pain, the room leaned in. And this is why I believe that there is power in our pain. And it's not something for us to run from, but it's something for us to take ownership of. The third thing is take action, or what I like to call be the buffalo. Be the buffalo. Now, I spend part of my time in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Cheyenne, Wyoming. Wyoming is a great place. I don't know if you've ever been there before. We're recruiting people, so if you want to move, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room. And one of the cool things about Wyoming is that we have buffalo, technically bison. And one of the cool things I learned about buffalo is that when buffalo see a storm coming up over the Rockies, they actually turn and face the storm, going into the storm head on, thus getting through the storm that much faster. Now, their friends, the cows, when they see a storm coming up over the Rockies, they run away from the storm, thus staying in the storm even longer. So when first we're able to identify the pain, second, we're able to take ownership of the pain. And the third thing we do in order to break the habit of lying to ourselves is taking radical action. Taking radical action, being the buffalo, and being willing to go all in and do whatever it takes to make a change. I knew at that point, as I was in the midst of this relationship with this special someone, that I didn't want to be a loser. I didn't want to lose out on this thing that was so important for me. So I knew I needed to take radical action. I knew I needed to own this situation, and I knew I needed to take action in order for it to work. Now, you have a choice. You have a choice to be the buffalo, take on the storm, take on it head on, which isn't always the easy way out. Or you have a choice to be the cow and run in the opposite direction and avoid your problems all along. I had that choice. I could have run from the lie I told and continued to stay in that cycle of lying. But I decided to be the buffalo. And I knew I had a choice, and I know you have a choice as well, to take radical action, radical honesty, and to go all in. Now, I have to tell you, these three things might seem really simple. You're like, Jeff, come on. I could have read this anywhere. I could have read this in a kindergartner book. Yeah, it is simple. But in order for it to work, you must be willing to go all in. You must be willing to go all out. You must be willing to be 100% honest. You must be willing to risk everything and lose everything. And thankfully, when I went back to this girl, and I totally laid everything out, I was vulnerable. It was a horrible feeling. Didn't like it at all. But it was also healing. It was also freeing. I was free to choose, and I gave her the freedom to choose. And luckily, she did choose me. And 2 years later, she continues to choose me. But you know what? Winning doesn't always mean you get the girl. Winning to me means you have the integrity, the courage to live the integrity that you were meant to live and to be who you are supposed to be. Now, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a lying, lonely loser that just misses out on everything, that is caught in this cycle of hurting myself over and over and over again. But I see a person of value. I see a person with flaws, but a person who is willing to show up and do whatever it takes, even when it's hard. I see a person who is here to call others like you to join me in the journey of being real with yourself so that we can be real with others. Thank you.